Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not just looking at any game, we're delving into the origin, the very genesis of a global phenomenon.
Yeah, a title that really broke the mold.
Exactly. It fused this, historical grandeur with some pretty mind-bending science fiction.
Yeah.
And it did it in a way that, well, it really changed how we thought about open-world action-adventure.
You're talking about Assassin's Creed, the original.
Absolutely. The groundbreaking 2007 original Assassin's Creed.
It's quite something when you look back, isn't it? Mid-2000s gaming landscape.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed wasn't just another release.
No, not at all.
It was this incredibly ambitious experiment, a bold attempt to redefine narrative, player freedom, environment all at once.
It really aimed high.
Yeah, it set a new bar for immersion, I think.
Definitely. And our mission today, for you listening, is to do a proper deep dive into that very first installment.
Get right into the nitty-gritty.
We'll unpack its ambitious design, that really captivating plot spanning centuries, somehow its unique gameplay mechanics.
And the development story, that's fascinating too.
Oh, absolutely. The surprising, sometimes, let's say turbulent story of how it got made. We're going straight to the original sources, trying to understand what made it so pioneering.
Celebrating the highs, but also acknowledging those early criticisms, right?
Yeah.
They definitely shaped what came next.
Couldn't have said it better. So, the basics,
Mm-hmm.
developed by Ubisoft Montreal, published by Ubisoft.
Right. Hit PS3 and Xbox 360 in November 2007.
And then the PC got that Director's Cut edition a bit later, April 2008.
Which had some extra stuff we should mention.
We will.
Yeah.
But yeah, fundamentally, action-adventure, stealth, single-player, but it brought something new to that mix.
Something genuinely revolutionary for the time.
Okay, let's peel back those layers. Time to jump in. So the very first thing, I think, that grabs you about Assassin's Creed, maybe even before you properly start playing, is this dual narrative structure. It's really quite brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It's not just one story unfolding.
No. It's two running in parallel, constantly informing each other. You got Desmond Miles, our modern-day guy.
Just a bartender, right? Living his life.
Yeah, seems totally ordinary. Until, boom, he's kidnapped, snatched up by this really shadowy corporation, Abstergo Industries.
Always Abstergo.
And they don't just want him, they want his history. They force him into this machine, the Animus.
Which isn't just VR, is it? It's way beyond that.
Exactly. It taps into his DNA, lets him relive the genetic memories of his ancestors.
Yeah.
It literally brings the past roaring back to life.
And what's so clever about that is how it immediately establishes these two very distinct timelines. You're constantly jumping between them.
Keeps you on your toes.
Totally. Most of the game, you're in the main historical setting.
Yeah.
Holy Land, Third Crusade, 1191. That's where you're Altair bin Malaha, Desmond's ancestor.
Doing all the cool assassin stuff.
Right, the core gameplay. But then, just as you're getting immersed, you're yanked out.
Back to the present. Back to Desmond.
Stuck in that sterile Abstergo lab. It's quite jarring, actually.
It is. And it creates this immediate tension, this mystery. You're constantly asking, okay, how does this memory connect to what's happening now?
Drives both stories forward. Desmond's struggle and your own discovery as the player.
It's such a smart way to frame this huge, millennia-old conflict they set up.
The Assassins versus the Templars.
Exactly. On one side, you have the Assassin Brotherhood. They're inspired by the real-life Order of Assassins, the Hashashin.
And in the game, their whole deal is fighting for peace through free will, right?
Yeah, individual liberty. Humanity guides its own destiny, even if that means, well, a bit of chaos sometimes.
And then you've got the Templar Order, also inspired by a real group, the Knights Templar.
They're opposites, really. They also want peace, but
through control, through order,
yeah.
Top down.
They think humanity needs guiding, needs structure, needs obedience to achieve peace. It's that classic philosophical battle.
Order versus freedom.
Yeah.
Beautifully woven into the whole plot.
And right at the center of this big fight, the things they're really fighting over are these artifacts.
The pieces of Eden.
Yeah. These super powerful relics from some, forgotten ancient civilization.
Godlike powers, essentially. Mind control, changing events, that kind of thing.
They're the ultimate prize, aren't they? The reason both sides are doing what they're doing.
Whoever controls the pieces controls destiny, basically.
Yeah.
Whether it's forced order or guided freedom, it gives the whole historical conflict this almost mythical weight.
Totally. And coming back to the 12th century, our main guy, Altair, his story starts with a fall from grace.
A big one.
We meet him. He's a master assassin, sure. But he's arrogant, cocky, overconfident.
And it costs him, costs others.
Massively. He botches this really crucial mission at Solomon's temple. They're trying to get one of these pieces of Eden, the apple.
Apple of Eden, yeah.
And his arrogance, his recklessness, it gets one of his assassin brothers, Kadar, killed. And another, Malik, badly injured, loses an arm.
Yeah, that initial failure, it's not just a slip-up. It's catastrophic for him personally.
His mentor, Al-Mualim, the leader of the Brotherhood,
Yeah.
he's furious.
Understandably.
He strips Altair of his rank, publicly shames him, knocks him right back down to novice status.
Ouch. So redemption arc time.
Exactly. To get back his honor, his place, Al-Mualim gives him this massive task. Assassinate 9 specific targets.
High-profile Templars.
Spread across the Holy Land, Jerusalem, Acre, Damascus. And hunting these guys down, that forms the game's main structure, really.
You're working through this hit list, essentially. Each target representing some aspect of Templar control.
Like Tamir, the arms dealer, or Garnier de Nablus doing those horrific experiments.
Majdadan, the tyrant in Jerusalem. Yeah, each one is a step on the path.
And as Altair takes these guys out, one by one, he starts to realize this is bigger than just 9 bad guys.
They're all connected. It's a conspiracy.
A huge Templar conspiracy, all aimed at getting that Apple of Eden back. And Altair himself starts changing, doesn't he?
He does. He sheds that arrogance, becomes more thoughtful, wiser. He even starts to reconcile with Malik, the guy whose brother died because of him.
That relationship's really well done. The tension builds as he gets closer to the truth.
And then the big confrontation with Robert de Sablé, the Templar Grand Master, or who he thinks is de Sablé.
Right, the decoy. Maria Thorpe. That was a good twist.
She tells him the real de Sablé is off trying to unite their enemies against the assassins.
So Altair tracks down the real Rob.
And gets the bombshell revelation.
The biggest twist of all. De Sablé reveals that Altair's own mentor, Al-Mualim, is the final conspirator, the 10th man.
He betrayed everyone, assassins, Templars, played them all against each other.
Or to get the apple for himself, to use its power.
That moment when Altair realizes his trusted guide was manipulating him the whole time, devastating, changes everything.
So he races back to Masyaf, the assassin fortress,
and finds Al-Mualim in full-on villain mode, using the apple's power to control everyone. Mind control.
His vision of peace is just total submission. End the Crusades by forcing everyone to obey him.
And Altair, who's finally learned the value of free will through this whole ordeal.
He has to fight him, with Malik's help, importantly.
That final battle is epic. And after he defeats Al-Mualim, he tries to destroy the apple.
But it doesn't break. Instead, it lights up, shows this holographic map.
Locations of other pieces of Eden. All over the world.
Brilliant ending. Not just an ending, like you said, but a hook for the entire franchise. It just explodes the scope.
Then bang, we're snapped back to the present again.
Desmond, still trapped.
Yeah.
And now we know Abstergo isn't just some random corporation.
They are the modern-day Templars.
Hunting for those pieces of Eden shown on that map, using Desmond's memories as their guide, it's this massive secret war playing out across centuries.
Right under our noses in the modern world.
And that modern twist, it just ties it all together so well. It elevates it beyond just a historical game.
Abstergo got what they initially wanted from Altair's memories, those locations.
But Desmond's basically expendable now, right? His life is hanging by a thread.
But Lucy Stillman, Dr. Viddick's assistant, who we strongly suspect is an assassin mole.
Yeah, definitely hinting at that.
She convinces Abstergo to keep him alive for further testing.
And then Desmond starts seeing things, these weird drawings appearing on his bedroom wall.
Bleeding effect, kind of. But these drawings seem prophetic, don't they?
Yeah, talking about some kind of catastrophe coming in 2012. It connects his personal story to this, potential apocalypse.
It bridges the 12th century and the modern day in this really unexpected, high-stakes way.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About history, information, control, how much of what we think we know is shaped by struggles like the ones in the game.
Okay, so moving beyond the plot. What really made Assassin's Creed such a landmark title, what made people sit up and take notice, was its world, that open world.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just a backdrop. It felt like a character in itself.
Right. It wasn't just level after level. It was this huge, sprawling, living, historical sandbox. And the freedom you had as Altair.
The movement was key. Scaling those incredibly tall buildings, leaping across rooftops, melting into crowds. It felt revolutionary in 2007.
It really did.
You felt like you were him.
And the scale of it. They recreated these key locations with amazing detail for the time.
Masyaf, the assassin HQ.
The kingdom area. That open terrain you rode your horse through.
And the cities. Jerusalem, Acre, Damascus. Each one felt distinct.
Absolutely. Different architecture, different atmosphere, different challenges. That mix of historical accuracy and just pure freedom to explore, that was special. Set a new standard for open worlds.
So the main gameplay loop revolves around those assassinations, El Mula mortars, right?
Mm.
Working your way back up.
Yeah, but it wasn't just go here, kill target. There was a process, an art to it.
The reconnaissance. You couldn't just barge in.
Exactly. Before you even thought about the kill, you had to gather intel. This whole structured approach was vital.
Eavesdropping on conversation.
Interrogating key people, sometimes non-lethally.
Pickpocketing documents or maps.
Yeah.
That was always tense.
Doing favors for informers, fellow assassins. It wasn't just busy work, it was about building a picture of your target.
Learning their routines, weaknesses. Finding that perfect moment to strike.
And then, after a successful hit, you'd head back to Masiev, get better gear, upgrades.
And often you could choose which target to go after next, right? Gave it a bit of a non-linear feel.
Added a strategic layer, made your playthrough feel a bit more personal.
And besides those big assassinations, there were all those side objectives too, which, as we'll get into, were kind of a last-minute thing.
Yeah, amazing story there. But they really helped flesh out the world. Climbing the viewpoints.
Loved doing that.
Yeah.
Synchronizing, revealing the map piece by piece.
Rescuing citizens from guards. Those little moments added a lot. Made the cities feel more alive, more reactive.
Gave you something to do between the main story beats. Kept you engaged.
Okay, let's talk about Altair's actual abilities, because this is where the game truly innovated and influenced so many others.
Stealth and parkour, the core pillars.
But not just any stealth. This game really popularized social stealth.
Hiding in plain sight. That was the genius of it.
You could literally become invisible just by acting normal, blending into a crowd, sitting on a bench, walking with scholars.
Lowering the guard's alertness level just by fitting in. It was brilliant.
And you had the hidden blade, of course, for those discreet, low-profile kills. So satisfying when you pulled one off perfectly.
It forced you to think differently about stealth. Not just shadows and corners, but using the environment, the people, as your cover.
Exactly. And that was the total opposite of the high-profile actions.
Right. Sprinting, climbing aggressively, attacking guards openly, all that stuff draws attention immediately.
Gets you chased. And escaping wasn't easy either. You had to be smart.
Break line of sight, dive into a haystack.
Or a rooftop garden, or quickly blend with some monks walking by.
Yeah, finding those hiding spots was crucial.
Oh.
And if you did get cornered.
The swordplay was actually pretty decent for the time. Attacks, counters, dodges. It was a viable option, just riskier.
Okay, and the interface itself, the Animus overlay. That was also really clever, wasn't it? It wasn't just a HUD.
No, it was narratively justified. Your health bar was synchronization.
Right. Getting hurt meant Desmond was deviating too much from Altair's actual memory.
Exactly. Lose too much sync, you desynchronize, have to restart from a checkpoint. It constantly reinforces that you're reliving fixed history.
And Eagle Vision. That was tied into it too.
Yeah, when your sync was full, you could activate it. Presented as this enhanced assassin sense.
Highlighted enemies in red, allies in blue, your target in gold.
It wasn't just a cheat mode, it felt like part of the lore. Gave you a tactical edge, tied into that whole sixth sense idea.
Plus, you had those glitches in the simulation.
Little visual stutters, audio skips. Because it's all computer rendering, right?
Yeah, and sometimes they'd subtly help you spot a target or give you a different camera angle in a cutscene if you reacted quickly.
Little details like that constantly reinforce the sci-fi layer, reminding you that you're Desmond in the Animus, not just Altai in the past. So clever how they wove it all together.
So how did this thing actually get made? The development story is almost as interesting as the game itself.
It really is. And it didn't start as Assassin's Creed at all.
No, it started as Prince of Persia, right?
Yeah.
After Sands of Time was such a hit.
Exactly. Late 2003, Patrice Désilets, the creative director, was tasked with making the next Prince of Persia, initially for PS2.
More linear, like Sands of Time.
Yeah. But then, around September 2004, they started hearing about the next-gen consoles, PS3, Xbox 360.
And the ambition level just exploded.
Totally. They started thinking open world, taking that fluid Prince of Persia parkour and applying it to a massive scale.
And Désilets wanted to move beyond the prince character trope, didn't he?
Yeah, he was tired of the prince waiting to rule. He wanted a character who was actively striving to become something powerful.
So he hit the books.
Kind of. Stumbled on an old university textbook about secret societies, and the stuff about the Order of Assassins, the Hashashin, just clicked.
So that's where it started.
That led to the first working titles, Prince of Persia, Assassin, or Prince of Persia. assassins.
Still tied to pop, though.
Yeah, heavily influenced by the historical Hassani Saba and especially Vladimir Bartol's novel Alamut. That book was apparently a huge inspiration.
And creating Alti himself, that wasn't straightforward either. Took years.
3 years, apparently. Iterative process. They knew about the white robes and red belt from historical accounts and Alamut.
But making that look cool and dynamic in a game.
That was the challenge. An animator, Kain Nguyen, did an early sketch with a bird of prey feel.
And that stuck. Hence the name Alta, or bird of prey in Arabic.
And all the eagle imagery throughout the game, eagle vision, the symbol, it all came from that initial concept.
They even borrowed from G.I. Joe. Storm Shadow.
Apparently so. To give Altair that heroic but slightly edgy feel. And get this, technical limits actually helped the design.
How so?
Rendering long, flowing robes realistically was tough. So they shortened the robe, gave it that layered, almost feathered look.
Which reinforced the bird of prey thing, turning a limitation into a feature. That's clever game design.
It really is. And that philosophy, gameplay, and visuals over strict realism extended to the parkour too.
Made it look believable, even if it was technically impossible sometimes.
Oh, exactly. The feel, the freedom, that was the priority. And the leaps of faith into haystacks.
Iconic. But maybe not entirely made up.
Desolates mentioned Alamut described similar acts of loyalty by the assassins, so it had a kind of literary grounding at least.
Okay, and the Apple of Eden. That started as a joke.
Sort of. Philippe Morin suggested it, maybe humorously. The team thought fighting over a literal apple was a bit silly at first.
I can see that.
But then research showed medieval rulers often depicted holding orbs, like the globus cruciger, symbolizing power.
Okay. So the apple fit that symbolism. Knowledge, power, temptation.
Exactly. It connected a simple idea to deeper historical and philosophical themes. Brilliant, really.
So the animus, how did that come about? It's so central.
They needed a device, right, a way to jump between different historical assassinations. They even considered JFK at one point.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Desolates saw a documentary about DNA maybe storing memories, passing them down generations.
And that sparked the idea.
Led straight to the Animus, a machine for time jumps, location jumps. And it brilliantly explained the game's UI, loading screens, even respawning.
Like the rewind in Sands of Time, but bigger.
Very similar concept. Death isn't death, it's a desynchronization, a mistelling of the memory. But Ubisoft marketing hated it initially.
Really? Why?
They were worried players would be confused by the sci-fi, wanted a purely medieval game, feared it would hurt sales.
Which explains that first E3 trailer in 2006.
Exactly. All medieval parkour, historical setting. The sci-fi stuff only really got hinted at much later in the marketing, shows that tension between creative vision and commercial concerns.
And this wasn't a cheap game to make.
Not at all. $15–20 million development budget over 4 years, plus another $10 million for marketing. That's a big bet on a new IP.
And Jade Raymond came in as producer.
Yeah, late 2004, helped manage the growing team, kept things focused during that intense development, played a crucial role by all accounts. So building this huge open world, they started small, right? Expanding on Prince of Persia systems.
Yeah, about 20 people initially. But they quickly realized they needed a whole new engine for this scale.
The Scimitar engine,
Mm-hmm.
which later became Anvil Next. That took 2 years just to build the engine itself.
Wow, so early development used the old Sands of Time engine.
As a placeholder, yeah. But Scimitar allowed for much more, like the improved wall climbing, making it even more fluid.
Thanks to Richard Dumas and Alex Drowan.
And that collaboration between level designers and artists was key, making almost every building climbable and historically plausible.
That's a huge task. Inspired by Grand Theft Auto, apparently. The freedom aspect.
Yeah, showing that even historical games could learn from contemporary hits about player agency.
And they used a Lego brick approach.
To build the cities efficiently from modular pieces, then a second pass to smooth everything out for pathfinding for the player and the AI.
Smart. And the viewpoint towers weren't just gameplay mechanics either.
No, they were based on real landmarks in those cities, using them to encourage exploration, reveal the map. It felt organic, not forced. Great design.
One of the biggest technical hurdles, though, must have been the crowds.
Oh, definitely. Going from maybe 8 characters on screen in Sands of Time on PS2
To potentially 120 people on PS3 and 360. That's a massive leap.
made the cities feel genuinely alive, bustling. And that density is what enabled social stealth.
Right. You needed those crowds to blend into, move stealth beyond just hiding in shadows.
Changed the whole dynamic. And Desola's acting background influenced the controls too. the puppet feel.
Yeah, wanting Altair to seem more human, expressive,
Yeah.
led to that high-profile, low-profile distinction.
Which even let you have some subtle control during cutscenes, blurring the lines.
Okay, the name change. This is wild. It was Prince of Persia. Assassins for a long time.
Almost 2 years. Late 2005 to early 2006. And the concept then was even weirder.
The prince as an AI character you had to protect.
Exactly. You played the assassin bodyguard, constantly rescuing the hapless prince.
That sounds interesting. But I can see why Ubisoft management wasn't thrilled.
Big internal debate. Management wanted another Poppy game starring the prince. The dev team wanted a new IP for the new consoles.
Scalemate.
Until GDC 2006, Ubisoft's own marketing team suggested Assassin's Creed.
Wow, the marketing team saved it.
In a way, Deslitz heard it and immediately knew it fit. Connected it to the nothing is true, everything is permitted creed.
And the prince got dropped.
Yeah.
Became purely the assassin story. Amazing how a name can change everything.
Absolutely. Now, for maybe the craziest story, those side quests, the collectibles, the citizen rescues.
They were added 5 days before the game went gold.
According to Charles Randall, the lead AI dev, the CEO played it. His son said it looked boring with just the main missions.
No way.
So 5 days before the deadline for manufacturing, the entire team scrambled, frantically adding all those flags, targets, rescues, just stuffing the world with more things to do.
That is insane. All hands on deck, working around the clock.
Miraculously pulled it off, apparently with only minor bugs. True game dev crunch story.
Wow. Just wow. And quickly on voice acting, Philip Shabazz as Altair.
Face model on Francisco Randez, a Montreal model.
Kristen Bell voiced Lucy, talking up the genetic memory plot in Interview.
Helped explain that sci-fi rapper. And Al-Mulim, based on Rashid ad-Din Sinan, the historical old man of the mountain.
Shows how much research went into building the fiction, even with the sci-fi layer. Okay, so Assassin's Creed finally launches November 2007 for consoles.
North America first, then Europe, Australia, New Zealand shortly after.
PC gamers had to wait until April 2008, but they got the director's cut.
Which, as we hinted, had those 4 extra mission types. Archer assassinations, rooftop races.
Merchant stand destruction, escort missions. Nice little bonus for the wait.
And then it hit Steam, eventually GOG.com, DRM free, good for accessibility and preservation.
But the PC release had issues. Piracy was a huge problem, wasn't it?
Massive. A pirated PC version was out there in February 2008 before the official release.
So Ubisoft tried to fight back with a bug.
Yeah, they intentionally put a bug in the retail code designed to crash the game, hoping it would cripple the pirated copies. A sort of self-destruct mechanism.
Did it work?
Not really. Gamers figured out workarounds pretty quickly. The pirated version became hugely popular.
So sales suffered.
Ubisoft claimed so, said it caused irreparable harm, cited figures like 40,000 official U.S. PC sales by July 2008 versus an estimated 700,000 illegal downloads.
Oof, that's a huge difference.
Led them to sue the disc manufacturer, Optical Experts Manufacturing, blaming them for the leak. Highlights the piracy battle back then.
Shifting gears to something more positive. The music. Jesper Kid's score.
Fantastic score. Jade Raymond said they wanted it to be gruesome like medieval warfare, but also edgy and contemporary.
To match the dual nature of the game.
And Kid nailed it. Archaic Latin choirs, dark orchestral stuff, but with modern ambient textures.
Like that Meditation Begins track. Uses an old dance, the Saltarello.
But makes it sound ominous, dark with those Latin whispers underneath. Perfectly captures the mood.
So good. Though some fans were maybe disappointed that tracks from the trailers, like Massive Attack's Teardrop,
weren't on the official soundtrack, yeah. Common thing, but still.
And for many people, their first real look was E3 2007, right? The Jerusalem demo.
Yeah, showed off the improved crowds, the chase system, more parkour, and it was the first time we heard Altair speak.
Gave him some personality. There was an extended version, too, showing an escape after assassinating Talal.
Right, really showcased the intensity and agility the game demanded. That demo got a lot of people hyped. So, release time. How did the critics react? It was generally favorable, right? Metacritic scores around 81 for console, 79 for PC.
Yeah, generally favorable sums it up. But it was kind of a mixed bag within that, wasn't it? Lots of high praise, but also some consistent criticisms.
Definitely. Famitsu in Japan gave it high scores, loved the story, presentation, acrobatics.
Game Informer gave it a 9.5. Praise controls, replay value, the story.
Yeah.
Though even they mentioned the repetitive info gathering.
Aaron Bolding at ESPN called the social stealth fairly original, loved the visuals. Game Trailers gave the story a 9.7.
Games Radar and PlayStation Magazine gave it perfect scores. called it exceptional.
GamePro said it was one of the finest gaming experiences ever created, but added the caveat for patient players, highlighting the details.
Kevin Van Ord at GameSpot also mentioned the joy coming from the small details. So, lots of love for the concept and world.
The buts was significant too. Famitsu noted issues with combat being too simple, map layout, camera problems.
Game Informer, again, frustration with repetitive missions.
Eurogamer was pretty blunt, said the gameplay never evolves and ultimately becomes a bit boring and quite amazingly repetitive.
Ouch. IGN's review, 7.5, also hit hard on bad story, repetitive gameplay elements, and poor AI, even while praising the animations, climbing, and cities.
So a clear pattern. Loved the ambition, the world, the movement. Less keen on the mission structure and repetition.
Right. OneOutD.com's B review kind of nailed that feeling, didn't it? Said the grandiose ideas may have been a little too much to master the first go-round.
But at least the groundwork is laid for a killer sequel. That sentiment seemed pretty widespread.
Flawed masterpiece, foundational work, something like that.
Yeah, a proof of concept that showed incredible promise, even if it stumbled a bit in execution. And the industry awards reflected that potential.
Won a bunch of stuff at E3 2006 before it even came out. Best Action Adventure, Best PS3 Game.
Nominations from XPlay, Spike TV, won for Outstanding Achievement in Animation at the AIAS Awards.
Which makes sense. The movement was incredible. Nominated for Adventure Game of the Year, Outstanding Innovation.
Game Informer put it in their top 200 games list. GameSpot Editor's Choice. So despite the gameplay criticisms, the innovation was widely recognized.
And commercially, it was a smash hit.
Hugely successful. Greatly outstripped Ubisoft's expectations for a new IP. Debuted at #1 in the UK.
Xbox 360 version sold more initially.
Yeah, 67% of initial UK sales. But both versions hit platinum status quickly. They're 300,000 copies each.
And worldwide.
By April 2009, Ubisoft announced 8 million copies sold. Massive numbers.
Which basically guaranteed it would become a franchise.
Instantly. We got the Altair's Chronicles prequel on DS in 2008.
But the big one was Assassin's Creed 2 in 2009.
That's the one that cemented the series. New setting, Renaissance Italy, new protagonist, Ezio Auditore.
So charismatic.
And crucially, ACA addressed a lot of the repetition criticisms from the first game. More mission variety, deeper systems.
It built on that incredible foundation and really launched the series into the stratosphere, set the stage for everything that followed. #outro.
So looking back at that original Assassin's Creed from 2007, it really was a trailblazer, wasn't it? A truly foundational game.
Absolutely. It pushed boundaries for open-world design, gave us that unique mix of history and sci-fi with the Animus.
Introduced social stealth, which was so influential. And created this incredible sense of freedom and place, even with those repetitive missions people noted. It laid down the blueprint.
It wasn't perfect, no. The criticisms about mission structure were fair, I think.
Definitely valid. But the sheer ambition, the fluid parkour, the living cities, the narrative concept, it was groundbreaking.
And its success, both critical and commercial, was undeniable. It proved you could blend history and sci-fi like that.
Captivated players with both the past and the future storyline.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's maybe a final thought for you to ponder. The game was all about this struggle, right? Free will versus control, spanning centuries, fought over pieces of Eden that could shape reality and perception.
The battle for information, essentially.
Exactly. So think about our world now. How information gets filtered, curated by algorithms, shaped by different narratives. Do you see any parallels between that fight for knowledge and perspective in Altair's world and maybe the challenges we face staying truly informed, thinking for ourselves in our own time?
That's a deep one worth thinking about.
Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.